you'll see.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with the public safety meeting. We're going to call this to order, so it'd be nice if we can settle down the conversations, please. We do have minutes to approve from July 29th, and can we get approval of those minutes, please?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we have several pieces in front of us today, actually 5. Our first piece is authorizing the purchasing agent or her designee after publicly advertising for bids to enter into contracts to provide for the remounting and refurbishment of one 2007 tailor-made emergency medical unit and declare an emergency. And today we have Deputy Mayor of Public Safety, Charlie Brown, with us, and he'll introduce any additional speakers.
Good afternoon, and thank you. To my left is Chief Dave O'Neill. This request is about $92,000 and some change, $92,800. The purpose of the request is to repair or replace the box that's on the on that particular vehicle. And Chief O'Neill, you can explain a little bit further. I would appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've done this in the past with med units. Rather than purchasing a new med unit, we've taken an old med unit and basically mounted the box onto a new chassis, and they rework the whole box, upholstery, paint, everything. So at the end, when it's done, it's essentially a new med unit. So it'll be used as one of our new first-line med units. The good point is that it saves about $70,000 off the price of buying an actual new med unit. So we had a med unit that is a good candidate for this, and that's the route we elected to go.
All right, thank you, Chief. Anything else? Good. Any questions, committee members, please? Committee members? No? Oh, yep, Councilman Hoke.
Is this going to a specific station?
Yeah, I believe right now it is scheduled to go to station number 2 to replace Med 2.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, thank you. Any other questions, committee members? Councilwoman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is this money coming out of the levy money, or is this out of you guys' budget?
This is out of our budget. We're given $100,000 each year to use for refurb and remount, refurbishment of vehicles, so we're going to direct most of that towards this vehicle.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Council members in chambers, any questions? All right. With that, what's your pleasure, Chief or Deputy Mayor?
Suspension of the rules, please.
All right.
Request that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we'll suspend the rules.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next piece, authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and, if awarded, accept and expend grant funding from the Ohio Attorney General's Office Law Enforcement Diversion Program to support the local collaborative quick response team to address opiate overdoses and declare an emergency. Deputy Mayor, Public Safety. Charlie Brown.
Yes, thank you. To my left is Lieutenant Garrett. He works in the EMS Bureau. And to his left is Carol McCullough. You guys know Carol. Yes. She's our law enforcement planner. Carol, you want to start the conversation, and then Lieutenant Garrett, if they have any specific questions about the QRT cool. And how it matches up with the legislation request, you can answer those. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Carol.
I suspect most of you are familiar with our quick response team, but in the event that you're not, it's a collaborative effort with the Akron Fire Department, with the Summit County Public Health, and with the ADM board to go out on calls about 4 hours each week, weekly, to follow up with people that have overdosed and been revived with Narcan. So the idea is to put a friendly face on the effort to get them into treatment and to connect with them or their loved ones or both, and encourage them to seek treatment. So this would allow us to continue it through the next fiscal year for the state, so through the end of June.
Okay.
You guys will also notice it's $50,000.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, committee members? Councilwoman Keith. Thanks.
Are we tracking with what success this
has been to our community, so that as we continue to press forward with grants or whatever, that I'm pretty sure you have, but if we could have something, that would be terrific. Thank you.
We are, it's sort of towards the tail end of the Uniform Council report. We've attempted 414 visits, met with 265 people, and successfully connected 40% of those to treatment or services.
That's good. Yeah, go, ask, please.
Is there any follow-up after treatment, possibly besides an emergency, run that you would have to make again? But is there possibly any other follow-up? Because these are good these people that have met with the QR team, have had successful treatment, are sometimes our best ambassadors out there for the program.
Right. At this time, whoops, I just turned it off. The QRT team does not do that follow-up themselves. We had actually applied for more money than we received, and so that would allow us that additional time to do the follow-up.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other questions, committee members? Councilwoman Sims, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I, of course, love the QRT concept. I'm hoping at some point we can do it relative to gun violence, possibly. But my question is, $50,000 is a very little amount. What's the overall budget for QRT, and is that split between the county and the city?
I'm not sure I could tell you what the overall budget is since it spans multiple organizations, but what I can tell you is that this does cover the visits themselves, so that 4-hour block of time that a firefighter, medic, an officer, and a support worker go out during those 4 hours, and this covers that for a full year.
For a full year? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Any other questions from the committee members? Council members in chambers, any questions or comments? All right, with that, do you got a... Oh,
I'm just ready to move.
What's the pleasure, Deputy Mayor? Charlie?
Suspensions of the rules, please.
Okay.
Motion for suspension of rules?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we'll pass that this evening. Suspension of the rules. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate the hard work. All right, next piece, authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and if awarded, accept and expend grant funding from the 2019 Justice Assistance Grant administered through the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, designed to provide law enforcement agencies with the flexibility to prioritize and utilize justice funds where they are needed most and declare an emergency.
Thank you. This particular grant is $125,000, of which the city of Akron will receive $105,000, or 84% of the award, with the county receiving 20%, or 16%, I'm sorry, $20,000 or 16% of the award. It will be used for hospital overtime, professional development, and some supplies. So if there's any questions, myself or Carol will answer those questions for you.
All right, thank you. Any questions from committee members? Councilwoman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on the supplies, it seems like I don't know if we just really need it. We've spent a lot of money here recently on armor, SWAT armor. Is there a limitation on what the funds can be used for?
Well, to answer your question with respect to how much money we're spending on armor, we have armor that has got to be not recycled, but it has to be transitioned out. So that's one of the reasons. We're only asking for 8 pieces according to this. So our SWAT team is about 43, Sarge, about 43 members. So we have to, kind of recycle it out.
So primarily this is for the recycling or upgrading of?
It's replacing old equipment for the
Correct.
SWAT team.
Equipment replacement,
One
okay.
thing that is beneficial is that there's been a fair number of advances in body armor, so this is good for 15 years, which in the past we haven't had. armor that lasts that long. So we're trying to basically replace all of it with the 15-year armor. And recently, we came before you to talk about body armor. That was a different kind of armor used for active shooters versus this, which is not the same, if that makes any sense.
It does, yeah, because it seems like we've seen quite a few. I guess that makes a little more sense. How much are they different? In which ways are the armors different?
I'm not going to be an authority here, but my understanding is that in the case of an active shooter, it's going to stop a rifle round. Is that correct? Versus, the other SWAT armor might not be able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other questions or comments from members of the committee? All right, council members in the chambers? No? What's the pleasure?
Suspension of the rules, please.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we'll pass that this evening. Next piece, authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and, if awarded, accept and expend grant funding from the Akron Community Foundation Millennium Fund for Children and declare an emergency. Charlie?
Sure. This is $2,000. Coming to the circle is Sergeant Botnick. He's also a SWAT team member, and he's also right now acting commander of community relations, where this program is being housed. So right now, the request will allow them to teach safety time to 1,400 kindergartens at 28 Akron public schools over a 47-day period during the 2019-2020 school year. So if you have any questions about that program, Sergeant Botnick oversees it, and he could answer any specific questions about that.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Sergeant. Committee members, questions or comments? Councilwoman Keith?
Thank you so much for taking over this program. And at one point, we were doing the program, and it was designed, we took it to a level, you took it, I had nothing to do with it, just was in on a few meetings, but you took it to a level where children with disabilities were also part of this program. Is that still going to be in this funding, because it was tremendous?
Yes, absolutely. One of the benefits of this program is since we're partnering with Akron Public Schools, we're able to reach every single demographic of the city, including any child that's enrolled in kindergarten through Akron Public Schools. So some of those impediments before, like being able to meet all the needs of the special needs children, we're able to meet through this programming type style.
Good question. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councilwoman Sims?
Not a question, but a comment. To say I love Safety Town, so thank you guys for the great work that you do.
Thank you. Councilman Swirsky?
Yeah, just want to say I'm impressed with the variety of different funding sources that the city is approaching, and it seems we have an awful lot of needs in our community, and it's just reassuring to know that we have somebody with such competency aggressively pursuing more money to be able to expand our services. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments, committee members, council members in chambers? All right, with that, what's your pleasure?
Suspension of the rules, please.
All right, suspension of the rules. All right, all in favor? All right, we'll pass that this evening. All right, our last piece, authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and, if awarded, accept and expend grant funding from the Ben Roethlisberger Foundation to expand and improve the K-9 unit of the city's police department and declare an emergency.
Thank you. It's $24,000, and it allows us to increase the number of canines we use. There is no match, Carol, on this one? I don't remember. There's no match on this one as well. Any questions regarding the grant itself? Carol will be happy to answer those questions.
All right, thank you. I do got a question. This grant that Ben puts out, is this just $24,000 overall, or does he try to give out more money than this? If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. They actually, as far as I could tell during my research, don't publish the amounts.
Okay.
So that makes it a little difficult. So we just decided to go with what our needs were, which in order to cover each one of our patrol shifts, we would need to have a total of 8. So 3 more are needed.
And my other question is, how long has he been doing this? Do you know that?
I don't know off the top of my head because I was exposed to it last year, I guess, for the first time, since I wasn't in this field before. But it's always, you have to be within a certain distance of the games that he plays. So we're close enough to Cleveland to qualify.
Wow, okay.
Just for to interject real quick, Melinda worked in that area before as a law enforcement planner. She says at least 10 years.
Oh, okay, great, yeah. Is this the first time we've applied for it? It is. Okay, that's the first time I heard of it. All right, thank you. Council members, our committee members, questions? Councilwoman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is nothing to do with K-9, maybe, have we considered, I don't know what those polka dot dogs are that are at fire stations?
The Dalmatians?
Have we considered like one for like our new fire stations? I mean, just as a way to talk about safety and to add that to, since we have the new stations, I don't know if we can apply for money for that, but it just seems missing. So I just throw that out there. Integrated, did you hear me back there? Maybe we get a polka dotted Dalmatian as a part of our education strategy around fire safety. So if we, as we're looking at grants.
I guess my response would be, I know that Sergeant Botting's unit is using safety pup or something like that, right? So he's actually, they actually have a safety pup that's a costume person that they've actually had out at.
I know, that's cute, but.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we are kind of using that type of philosophy to help educate the individuals that are either in the schools or Safety Town or at open houses when we get a chance to do that. Great idea, though.
I think she's talking about a real dog.
Yeah, we have real
I knew exactly what she was talking about. That's why I went past it. No, it's kind of, and I never worked the line before, but those guys are out. They may be out for extended hours, and that means that the canine would be left by him or herself for long periods of time. So it may be something.
As most of us go to work, and ours are K-9s are left at home by themselves.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, okay, I just throw that out just as a possibility. Thank you so much for entertaining it.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was a pretty good suggestion. So, all right, any other questions or comments, committee members? All right, council members in chambers? All right, with that, what's the pleasure?
Suspension of the rules, please.
Wow, suspension of the rules again. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, with that, we're adjourned. Thanks.